Only hot girls listen to a advices and experiences podcast in their free time. So whoever's listening, warm and sparkly welcome or welcome back to the igsh podcast. An IB podcast that will add up 250 oral points to your guaranteed 45 points at the end of the DP2 graduation.
I get tired a lot, but I never get tired of it. Because for me, I remember when I was a little kid and I used to sit there and think about how lucky I would be if someday people cared about the words that I wrote. Or how lucky I would be if someday I was just walking through the mall and saw some little girl walking by with my face on her shirt.
Good morning to the early birds listeners. It's not necessarily morning at your country, your city, but I just finished reading my final pages of the first chapter of the Great Gatsby homework, and I decided that today is the day we're gonna record. I have some adjustments to announce. So first of all, I'm in my third week of DP. I'm gonna add applause thingies here right now because that's amazing that I made it this far right now. Obviously, I did not have a choice, but the fact that I'm still on top of all of my work, I don't feel stressed out. I'm pretty much good with balancing my life with other criterias like creativity, reading for fun, creating, content creation, as you might have noticed. I'm feeling really proud of myself, but there's the adjustment. I'm planning on shortening down the average lengths of the episode to make them roughly maximum 8 minutes long because I love talking to you guys and I enjoy this so much, and I feel like this is such an amazing way to express myself and talk about things I love about studying, about productivity tips and all of this. But I also gotta juggle my schoolwork, my own life, and plus YouTube. Again, check that out because I'm gonna be posting a new video soon. So that's a lot of work. So I decided that I'm not definitely gonna abandon this podcast because I still have lots of hope that you guys benefiting from whatever my yapping is about. But shortening it down and maybe being more to the topic, more concrete, is gonna help me out feel less stressed and less obligated and less like I'm failing you guys, even though it's my issue, not yours. So let's just get into this episode. I'm really excited to talk about it because this is my recent discovery and I'm still developing my own ways in it, but there is some things that I can already say for sure, and I'm more than excited to share with you guys. Oh my gosh, I were just to find some research via ChatGPT that says that AI flashcards, if you constantly use AI-generated flashcards, just upload your notes and you get AI-generated flashcards, it's gonna be garbage for your memory. You're not gonna remember shit. And the information it gives me literally talks about what I want to discuss with you guys. So I'm just gonna read it out loud. The universe is definitely guiding me today. Anyways, ChatGPT quotes, studies on AI-generated flashcards emphasize their effectiveness in enhancing learning, especially when combined with proven methods like spaced repetition and active recall. According to research and platforms like Gizmo, the exact app I've been using for the past 3 weeks, and I've been thriving with it. AI-generated flashcards help automate the learning process by converting study material into manageable quiz-based formats, which can significantly improve relationship and performance. And now let's quickly digest things that I just read out loud to you. Starting off with some of my personal stories. In MIP 5 and 4, especially in the subject where it would be requiring to learn new words, for example, languages. In my case, it was German. Our teacher, especially when concentrating on irregular verbs, she would encourage us to use Quizlet. And even some of my classmates that were studying Spanish, they were also suggesting me to use Quizlet because it's such an amazing tool. You revise the words a couple of times and you know them. And that's what I've been doing, but my results weren't the best. And my mistake was that I just simply abandoned this amazing tool of already using generated AI flashcards instead of making my own and wasting lots of time on these self-made flashcards. Not trying to say that making your own flashcards is bad, but especially in DP, when you have so little time and you want to stay balanced, it might just take lots of time. And it's important to use quality over quantity. And even though writing down things uses motor skills, and that's why you remember things better when you write them down, it might not be the case when you literally do not have time to even sit down and take a bath. In DP, obviously. A constant thing that lots of productivity entrepreneurs and those amazing guys on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram that are talking about how to study effectively is the fact that it always mentions spaced repetition and active recall. And in case you are not familiar with the terms, here's a quick definition of each. So spaced repetition is a learning technique where information is reviewed at increasing intervals to boost long-term memory. You can simply look up the spaced repetition curve and it would show you the study that was made and the graph that all the time you are forgetting information which sounds predictable, but you can use spaced repetition in order to freshen up your mind. For example, in my case, I study for 2 days in a row, then I skip one day and I study on the fourth day. This way, over this gap, I let my brain forget the information and then I review it again. So basically, roughly talking, I'm sort of edging my brain on forgetting the information and then refilling it with it again, which sounds like a sex game, but which is huge game changer. And now moving on to what active recall is, it involves actively retrieving information from memory during the study session to strengthen retention. Which, shortly speaking, is already in spaced repetition. When you're over time returning to the material that you learned, for example, a week ago, you would use active recall in it. And now back on topic. So, as I already have been diving a little bit too deep into what spaced repetition and active recall is, you might have guessed that that's what we're going to be combining together with AI-generated flashcards. So, I'm just going to tell you my strategy, what I do, and I think it's going to be enough for you guys to understand how to study more efficiently, how to spend less time on your flashcards, but how to get more results. First thing first, I use Gizmo app to create my AI-generated flashcards. I upload a couple of pages of my notes, I write the title of this study set, and I do my first revision. Usually depending of how much work I have to do after this and how stressed or how overwhelmed I am, I'm either doing the active recall function in the app where I'm going to be going through all of my flashcards, or the speed race in case I want to do it quickly but still get as much information put into my brain as possible, as much active recall as possible. These are the two functions that you could be using in this app. And simply from here, I just go into the spaced repetition curve. For me, it is that I study and review information on my first day. This is basically when the teacher introduces me to the new material, and while she or he is talking, I'm already remembering all of the stuff. So that's kind of already refreshing it up, especially if it's MIP 5 revision and some of it I know. Second day of it, so first and then second day, I do mostly either AI-generated flashcards, active recall, or I try to blurt things out. A thing that I think we're gonna need at another episode to discuss, but blurting is basically when you read through your material and you try to, without looking at your textbook, write down as much information as you remembered. So I'm either doing this or that, or sometimes I combine them too. Then on my third day, I have a break. I don't look at my textbook, I don't look at my notes, I don't revisit my AI-generated flashcards. On the fourth day, I have one more repetition. I revisit the material again. Then I have 2 days break, revisit it again. And then I have the entire week off, after which I revisit the material again. And then I have a half week off and then one more week off and revisit the material for the last time. In total, I spent 3 weeks in order to the material to sink in. But obviously, you gotta remember and realize that this is how it works for me, because hey, it's Emily editing from the future, and I just want to let you know, experiment, try new things, and do not be scared to change, adapt, redo your routines, because as I'm editing this, I already have adapted my spaced repetition and active recall, so it suits my current life better. Nothing crucial or unpredictable, just in the frames of still spaced repetitioning and revising information after a time I let it sink in, and this is just your sign that you can change, You can experiment, you can fail, and failure is just the redirection in your life. So I hope this is clear. And the platform I specifically use to track down on what date throughout the month, throughout these 3 weeks, I gotta revisit my material, I simply use Google Calendar because it's an easy platform for me to navigate, but obviously you can use anything you like. You can simply write it on paper. You could use Notion for it. You could use any other app that provide you with this maybe more aesthetic than Google Calendar page with dates and month and all the rest. For me specifically, I don't really want to dive into the aesthetics of how my space repetition looks because I don't want to spend too much time on it. I rather would have it a little bit less pretty than I would usually go for, than spend a lot of time in it and realize that it's not working for me. So if you're just trying it out, I would say Google Calendar or Apple Calendar, whatever is the simplest to you, just to draft how you're going to revise and then reflect after a month if that has been working for you, add changes, and only then maybe try to look for apps that are more aesthetically pleasing, because we don't want to waste too much time on doing the research first on the cute apps and then realizing, oh, this is not working for us. And it's so hard, especially if you want to use Notion and you never use it before, to navigate yourself in. So I hope I'm being clear on this. And this is going to be it for today's episode, Study Stars. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got all of the information that you needed, and I answered this main question on whether you could study with AA flashcards, if it's beneficial from the scientific point of view, if you are still getting the benefit, and how to increase the chance of getting this benefit and succeeding on your exams, tests, whatever, just in general, having this fulfilling feeling that, yes, I do know this information. My main goal is that it helps you guys. And obviously you can always let me know via my Instagram. You could always write me there in the comments or DM me and we can discuss all of this. And I hope you enjoy this and you're gonna have a great the rest of your day, or maybe you're listening to this in the evening, so have a really good night's beauty sleep knowing that. And the only thing you gotta do is simply start. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoy your time here. I hope you're gonna return, and I hope you're gonna come back and listen to the next episode that's gonna be published next week. And I just hope you keep sharing your positive energy and being this cutesy girly who's so demure but also a true bitch inside and can reach all of her goals and stand on her own. See you next week, and bye-bye!
I get tired a lot, but I never get tired of it. Because for me, I remember when I was a little kid and I used to sit there and think about how lucky I would be if someday people cared about the words that I wrote. Or how lucky I would be if someday I was just walking through the mall and saw some little girl walking by with my face on her shirt.